Welcome to Basic Tinkercad Ideas. So when you are logged into your teacher's account, you're going to come up with this area right here. And if you have worked on something, then you can go back to that and click the Tinker this. You're going to see these are some different projects that I've worked on, or you can go, if you're ready for something new, you can have create new design. Now, I'm going to go into this crazy macaroni right here, and I'm going to say tinker this because I want to go back and work on this template. The first thing you want to do when you come up, you're going to notice it gives you just crazy names. I want to change this, so this is my first name, and I want it to be what I'm working on. So whether it's a vase, a math project, whatever, you want your first name and then the project that you're doing. Okay, so here's my basic plain square. This is my platform, and over here, shapes. So since I'm going to do my molecule, I want it with just, this is my base. I click on here and hold. You can use the keypad or you can use a mouse, whichever one is easier for you. And I want my base to be larger. So I'm going to take it by the corner, and that extends both sides, the top and the bottom. You can see that the square turns red here. That means that's what I'm going to be adjusting. If I go to the center here, I'm only going to be making it longer, or this top one wider that way. If I want to check my different viewpoints, I can adjust here. I can make it larger or smaller. If I'm not sure, like let's say I went really, really large, and then I just want to go back to home view. That's my home view. Now, this top button is actually going to bring it up and down. Notice what happens here. I went below my base plate. I do not want this to happen because anything that's below that base plate is not going to print, and then we're just going to run into trouble. See here, I ended up making it now above the base plate, and that doesn't do me any good. Now, so I'm going up. You're going to notice now I have open space. If I just click the letter D, then on my keypad, then it's going to go back down to the base plate, because when we're ready to print, anything that is below that is not, it's just not going to print because they're empty layers, and it will not do us any good. Here, if I want to move something up and down, I can just use it with this cone shape on top, and that's going to move it up and down. But if you're just trying to get it down on the base plate, the easiest way is D, because then you don't have to be thinking, oh, am I on 0 or negative or whatever. So I can just use D. Okay, so right there, now this opens up. This is going to give you just the diameters and all of the information on everything. Here is my solid shape. This is a hole. We'll look at the hole in a second. So let's say I want to do some text. Okay, my text I'm going to bring over here. And my this is the font. There are a couple different things that you can choose from. I'm just going to go ahead and with my molecule, I'm going to do a water molecule. Okay, so here's my water molecule. And I want this to be here. Well, notice you can't see it. That means that this base is larger, so I'm going to bring it up. Now, I also don't have to make it really, really tall and bring it in, because I can bring it up a little bit so it's not sitting on the flat platform, and then just make this a little bit smaller. Now let's say that I wanted to print inside and make a hole. If I want to, I can just turn this to be a hole, and now that water is going to be a hole. I can add things on top of my base plate. Sometimes people like to make their text that's on the sides, okay? So if I go up to this basic shapes over here, and I scroll down, and these are all different types of shapes and builds and forms that you can use depending on what you're building. But I want to go down to the shape generator, and I want to click on all, give it a minute to pop up, and you're going to see, I'm going to click on the more shapes. You're going to see that here is some different type of text. This is a text ring. If I had something circular, and I'll switch my base so that we can look at that. We have text with new line support. There's a script. Okay, there's actually Braille right there, but I want to look at this text ring because this is some things that some people like to do. If I have a circle, and let's say we're doing our vases, when we make our vases, let's get rid of this here, and I'm going to go back to my shape generator for my basic shape and give myself a circle. Okay, make it a little bit larger so that it's just easier to work with. Okay, and increase my height here. Okay, and I'm going to move it into my water. I'm going to move it into my water. Okay, so my water's in there. But this text now, if you look at this text, I'm going to click on this, and I find it easier just to use my cursor on my keypad. I'm moving my text into my circular bill because this is going to be on the side. Now, obviously, I need to adjust the size of it so that it can be read. I want to make it a little bit bigger. Once again, I'm using the buttons, the little boxes, and once they turn red, that's what I'm moving. So that's why sometimes it's easier to make it larger so you can see what you're doing. Now, if I'm going around here, you can kind of see that, oh, look, I have some empty spaces here. So there's a couple of options that you can do. You can make your text larger so that it comes thicker, and then I want to move it out this way. I can also take my platform in here, my circle in here, and just make it a little bit smaller so that I'm bringing it in. Because when you're printing, you don't want to have empty layers. It will not print with empty layers. And there we go. Now, you obviously need to add more to your molecules. You follow the parameters, but those are kind of just the basics of what you need. Let's say I want to change. I want to go back home so I can see. I want to change my text. I'm going to double click. And using a mouse is much easier sometimes. Sometimes you need to click off and then go back over here. That's still on my, oh, it's right there. So text. I want it to say pool because my water molecule is going to be a pool. And then if I turn this around, see how it says pool. And my water molecule is going to be a pool. So I'm going to finish building a pool here. I can add things on top. Now, one of the pieces that I will do when I'm done, and you feel free to do this so you can see what it looks like. If I go just kind of highlight the whole thing and I go up here to group, okay, here I'm going to group, and now this has grouped everything together. It turns it all one color. If you want to change the color, that's fine. You do not have to. We have certain colors that we print in, but now I can see what does everything look like. I don't have any spaces. I don't have any empty layers. My whole saying water doesn't go all the way down to the bottom because I don't want it to. And then that just tells you what it's going to look like when it's printed. And as of right now, we are still printing with just one solid color. So there you go. Now I will be able to access this from my account. You just leave it that way and you let me know that you are finished and you're ready for printing. Any other questions? Just holler.